Well, hello and welcome to volume 140
Yay.
of My Prostate is Trying to Kill Me. I got Indio's been coaching me, so I would know which one it was when we started it this time. I know for a fact it is 140. Watch me be wrong, and I'll have to edit it. But good Sunday morning to you. I'm Mark Graves, just a regular guy fighting prostate cancer, and I'm glad to have you along for the ride. Today's kind of a special day. I normally do interviews of the guys as they come onto the channel, and we have what we call our cancer crew. And recently we've had some new guys added to the cancer crew, and so we thought we'd take some time to let you get to know them and hear their story. You've heard all of ours, and so I have Indio that you know from Florida, and Lee. You've met him a couple of times. They both live in Florida. They've had a chance to get together and powwow with each other and go out to breakfast and have developed a good rapport. So I'm going to let them chat together so that you can hear Lee's story, and I'll just sit off camera here and listen to it. So with no further ado, thank you guys, and I'll talk to you in a little bit.
All right, thanks.
All right. Listen, it's funny thing that he did. He said 140, but he put up 5 fingers. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So listen, I've been with the cancer crew. I think it was sometime in November, because I listened to Mark, and I was maybe it was soon earlier than that. And Mark struck me as somebody who's pretty real in how he faces the news that he number one got cancer, and number two it's a prostate, and how he felt about it. And I think he and Tom were the only two at the time that were talking about my prostate's trying to kill me. First of all, the title is humorous, but at the same time, it's prostate cancer. But when you hear Mark, how he approaches it with humor, yet it's a serious issue. So that led me to reach out to Mark, and we communicated back and forth through Facebook, and I think email. Then finally, I said, okay, I don't. He invited if I wanted to come and talk about it, and I did. It was really hard to talk about number one with my family and my girls. I really didn't open up, didn't know how really until Mark, my I don't want to say therapist, but it's almost like there was a therapy there to talk about it. There was a word that he loves to use. What is it? I forget. About cathartic, and now that's in my vocabulary. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is, how did you find out about the cancer crew, and how did you hear about um, my prostate's trying to kill me, and eventually end up on the videos, Lee?
Well, back in going all the way back to July of 2019, my PSA was starting to rise, and it was like 6.0. And then you know went in and saw my urologist, and he said, well, let's check it again another couple of months there, because it's not unusual for PSA to bounce, or sometimes lab make a mistake. That happened to me once before, years earlier. Um, so I went back in October of 2019, and it jumped up to 8.7.
Mm.
So at that point, he wanted to schedule a biopsy, and he was kind of I don't know if you want to say old school. He didn't he just wanted to go straight for a biopsy. And I had been doing a lot of reading about, prostate cancer and things like that. Probably maybe a little bit too much, spent a little bit too much time on YouTube looking at stuff. And, everybody was saying, oh, get an MRI first. And because sometimes, all that stuff, as much as everybody relies on it, can be misleading. So I wanted to get an MRI. So I went ahead and had one done. And if you're kind of familiar or not familiar with MRIs, they have a scoring system, if you will, just like the Gleason score. They have what they call PIRADS, so it's PIRADS 1 through 5. And I came back a PIRADS 2, which was, there most likely is not cancer there, which was definitely inconclusive. So went ahead and had my biopsy in December of 19. And I came back with a great Gleason score of 6. But only 3 of the 12 cores even showed anything. So at that point, I decided to go for active surveillance, where active surveillance just means you just watch it. You just watch it because there is the possibility that it just will stay Gleason 6. So my next PSA test that I had in late April of 2020, went down to 7.7. So I thought, hey, I'm doing good. But then a couple, about 4 months later, did it again, 8.4, and jumped then on the 8. Let's see, what was it? I'm trying to keep all this on a list here. September I had another one, and it jumped to 11.5. So at that point, I was having some other urinary retention problems, and my urologist sent me for a CT scan and a bone scan. Those both came back negative because when you see a velocity like that, that usually indicates that there's a fairly aggressive cancer, because the old saying that cancers or prostate cancer is slow growing, and that's true. But looks like in my case, I lucked out and got a fast growing one there. So in December of 20, I had another biopsy, and this one was a saturation biopsy, which just really means they do a lot more cores. Standard biopsy is 12, and I think he did 37 cores. So he's poking in there a lot more time, looking, because it's kind of like having doing a random biopsy is pretty much like putting a blindfold on and throwing darts at a dartboard. Maybe you hit something, maybe you don't.
Are we talking
so
about
the more darts you throw?
Are we talking about the anal process with the probe?
No, I had mine done transrectally or transperineal.
Okay.
The reason I had mine done transperineal is because on my first biopsy, the urologist did do a rectal culture and found out that I was, because they tested against all the antibiotics out there, and found out that I was pretty resistant to most of the antibiotics. So just to be on the safe side, instead of poking through the rectum, went through the went transperineal, so that there's virtually no risk of infection that way.
Okay.
And it's a more involved process. You're actually going in, where the transrectal, that can be done in the office, where the transperineal, you're being put out and you're going into operating room. So nice thing is you don't feel a thing. So they give you a little propofol and you're out.
Yeah.
And you just wake up. You're sore, but you wake up. But you don't feel all those pokes. Plus there's no chance of infection. Um, so when I got the diagnosis,
this was still in 2019, right?
yeah. No, I'm sorry. This was just December of 20.
December of 20.
December of 20.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was my second biopsy, and that came back grade group, Gleason score of 7, and it moved up into grade group 2, and so there were a lot more cores that were showing cancer at that time. And a urologist, being a rheologist, recommended surgery. And I was not crazy about surgery. I read too many things about it. So it was about this time that I ran across Mark's videos there, and because I guess just doing search for prostate there, it came up, and so I started following Mark, and contacted him, and again he asked me to come on the Zoom meetings, and I said, well, be happy to, but let me get a little bit further down the road so I have a little bit more of a story to tell you, because just at that time it was just I was kind of still deciding what I wanted to do. I then when I went over to Moffitt, and they did an MRI, and as I told you, there's a rating, PIRADS 1 through 5, and I came back PIRADS 5 at that point.
Wow.
There is no PIRADS 6. There is no PIRADS 6. So, at that point, I started talking to you guys, and I was looking at going over to Moffitt for 40 treatments, and that's an hour's drive for me. And that's when you told me about Dr. Galloway, and I called him, and right away, had a meeting the next day with him. Had a televisit. He said, you don't have to worry about a thing now. We'll handle all your appointments. We'll handle all your scheduling. So that was a huge relief, because there for a while, I felt I wasn't really fighting cancer. I felt I was just fighting to get treatment, because it just seemed like nobody was in a real hurry about this. And, it was just, it just almost seemed like, well, we'll schedule these 30 days out, 30 days out. It's like, that seemed to be the way it was with Moffitt, and I really didn't think they were moving that fast. So that's when I decided to go with Galloway.
So just to let people know that Dr. Galloway was referred to me by my urologist, and I live in St. Pete, Florida. Mm-hmm. Dr. Galloway's office is in Clearwater, Florida, which is, his office is about 30 minutes from my home, as the crow flies on US 19. And staff is tremendous, awesome people, friendly, caring, and very professional, and right to business. I mean, in a friendly way. So I think when you do start your treatment, you'll be pretty pleased in how efficient they are.
Yeah.
So now I know you haven't started yet, but so there's a little story there before you actually start. What is that with respect to?
Well, last Friday, I went in and saw my urologist, and he gave me my first Eligard shot. So that's, I think I got a 6-month Eligard shot. And he also put my markers in.
Ah, the
So,
golden tickets, I call them.
yeah, there you go. There you go. Now, those he did transrectally. So, but, they loaded me up with antibiotics. So I haven't had any problems. Um, and, I guess I'm kind of on the ADT honeymoon right now.
Oh,
Because I haven't experienced any side effects yet.
good, good.
Yeah, but
I hope
that
you
was
don't.
just a week. That was just a week ago.
You
So
can talk to Mike
everybody.
about the passions of of the side effects.
Yeah, yeah. Like I
I
say, it's
hadn't
only
had
been
to.
only been a week. Only been a week.
Okay.
So from what I've read, it's 2 to 3 weeks before you really start to experience the fatigue and the hot flashes and all the other fun stuff that goes with that. Um, Oh, and in addition, Moffitt did put me on Cassidex, which is another kind of just a pill that you take daily. Um, because when you first start ADT, androgen deprivation therapy, um, apparently it actually causes your testosterone to spike.
Oh, okay.
So this Cassidex kind of counteracts that a little bit to keep it from spiking too much. So it should spike up a little bit and then really plummet. But I've got to be on the Eligard for 10 weeks, and then
How
they'll
many?
look at 10 weeks
Okay.
before they want to check my PSA again, and if it's low enough, then we'll move forward with the radiation. But they want to get that PSA down as low as possible to shrink, the tumor down so that the less they have to radiate actually. So I'm hoping that 10 weeks from now I'll be able to start radiation, and we're probably looking at 40 treatments there.
Yeah.
So, but kind of like you, I'm actually closer to his office. I'm just down here on 19, so um, it'll be closer for me. So
Yeah.
I'm,
Great. That's great.
just
You know?
it's just and part of it is a convenience factor too.
Oh,
Because it's like
absolutely. But at the same time, you've got a radiologist, which all he does is prostate cancer. He doesn't do
right,
anything. So his
yeah,
specialization is pretty unique.
yeah, and
Um,
I really like that. I really like that, and I felt very comfortable when I talked to him. He was he answered all my questions. Because in the past years, so I think I've seen a lot more doctors than I've probably seen in my life.
yeah. Mhm.
And maybe it's just me, but I just kind of feel like you know doctors don't like to be bothered with questions too much. They just kind of want to here do this, and just trust me on this. And I guess maybe it's like I understand. Their time's very precious, but so is our time. So
Listen,
um,
I learned a lot from Jack, and that is to ask a lot of questions.
yeah,
Um, Keep probing because it's your body, it's your prostate.
right,
Of course, you
yeah,
deserve the best, and you deserve the answers right now because you're in that position right
yeah,
now. Don, tell me.
you're
So
right,
that with Jack, I get that. That's probably the best take for anybody listening is keep asking the questions, keep asking the questions. Even if they give you piecemeal, keep asking the questions because
right,
there's some decisions you're going to make that some of them you can't take back. You know?
Right. Yeah. Because again, it's like and then another great thing besides this group has been the Facebook group.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, yeah. The Prostate Cancer Survivor or Support Group. The group that no one wants to belong to.
Yeah. I was volunteered, okay?
Yeah.
But we reach out to a few of those guys that don't feel alone, or feel that the battle, they are the only ones fighting the battle. And Mark gets on that horn and says, "Hey guys, you're not alone. It's unfortunate that you've got PC, but you're not alone. And we'll reach out to you just to say, hey, you're not alone. Talk to us. This is not the end of the world, although before we only got 5 minutes left, but how did you feel when they told you had prostate cancer? What was going through your mind? Was it the end of the world, or was it like, oh well, I'm moving on with another chapter in my life? Or were you up? Were you down? Or what did you feel like?
Well, when I was first diagnosed back in 19, like I said, it was what they just call barely cancer, because it was Gleason 6 and just a couple of cores. So, I was stressed out, but I didn't freak out because everything I'd read, it's like, well, just watch it, because there's a good chance that it'll just kind of stay like that. Unfortunately, it didn't. But I guess when it really hit me was the second biopsy, because that's when it got really serious, and it's been an emotional roller coaster. I won't for everybody. I don't care who you are. Because there's some days it's just like you just wish you could forget about it, and other days you just got to deal with it. So it's kind of an up or down thing. So but having you guys and the Facebook group has really made me feel like there's I'm not in this alone.
Yeah, good. Well, our time is limited, so why don't we get Mark back, and then he can close out. We can. Nice talking with you, Lee. We can do lunch again sometime in a couple of weeks, okay? And we'll have our own, lobster and shrimp and oysters and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
It was a good.
I like the name somebody gave us, the East Coast cancer killers.
There you go. I jotted down some notes, Lee, as you were doing the interview, and thank you, Indio. Great job of getting that going. And Lee, I appreciate your openness. I know it's not easy a lot of times to talk about personal matters, but you seem really at ease about it, and I appreciate you having all the information. It was incredible. Number one, I can totally identify with what you say about waiting is the hardest part. When the doctors seem to be on their own schedule, but we're on the schedule of, hey, let's get it out of my body like right now. I would really like to do that.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to sit there and understand, why are you guys not running around screaming, the sky is falling, like I feel like, for them, it's different.
Right.
It's not their cancer, it's ours. So it does make it a little difficult, but that's probably one of the hardest parts is waiting. Although I got to say, having little gold things shoved up your butt's probably not one of the better parts either. What did you call it? The golden ticket?
The golden tickets.
There you go. The targets.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I was going to ask you about too, because we're all in the page, the support page on Facebook, and I've noticed that both of you guys are very supportive of other people when they post up on there and they say, "Hey, I'm having a rough day," and I got to commend you, Lee, because you're in a tough spot. You know, you haven't started your treatment yet. Things don't always feel like maybe they're moving as fast as you'd like them to. You know, it starts causing doubt in your head. Is it spreading somewhere else in my body while I'm doing this? You know, are we wasting time? Shouldn't I be doing this today? But yet I see you stepping up to the plate on the Facebook group and offering help and support for guys that are in the same situation you are. So it just warms my heart when I see somebody who's suffering from something, supporting somebody who's suffering from the same thing, you know, and that's one of the reasons that I started doing this channel, because it is cathartic, but also because it gives us a chance to look inside of ourselves and not cure ourselves, but, you know, kind of emotionally heal ourselves at the same time. And both of you guys do that. I can't tell you how proud I am of both of you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because
thank you, Mark, for starting this. And I know you bear yourself, you know, because I know the other day when you just had your Lupron shot again, and I know you weren't feeling good, but you still got on there, and, you know, I'm gonna put out a video. You know,
yeah,
so
I'm not shy.
That's not always. Yeah.
I do look back on some of the ones that I did and wonder how in the world I got them up there. But
you're better man than me, brother.
No, not at all. Not by a long shot. I love your shirt. Come up a little higher so we can see your sweatshirt. That's awesome. Took me a minute to figure that out. And then did you see Lee's with the heartbeat and the camera?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, he's got the heartbeat on there.
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, I make one that looks like that, and then it has the A for the angels in the middle of it. But yeah, so gentlemen, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you taking this time out of your Sunday to get together and do this interview. I'm sure everybody that sees this is going to appreciate it. And Lee, now we kind of know the basis of what's going on. I did have one question. Do you have a date for your start for your radiation?
It's all gonna hang on my PSA.
Okay. All right.
So we're tentatively looking at probably third week in April.
Okay. All right. We'll keep an eye on it and see if they give you a hard date for it.
Yeah.
And, just like with Indio, we go into overdrive on the prayer when everybody starts that, you know, to go through it. And we've all been through it, man. So we'll be there to, you know, hold your hand the whole way. And because it's different for everybody. You know, I wish I could say, you know, that I knew what was going to happen with your side effects. Jack had none, you know, very, very minimal side effects. Tom and I got it, you know, worse than he did. Yeah. Hopefully you'll be like Jack and not have to deal with those, which means we're going to give you a lot of crap about it. All right, guys.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, so much. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So, all right.
We're praying for you too, because, you know, it's nothing we can't survive. It just makes life a little more miserable than what it was already. So, yeah, we'll be.
I'm not going there. Not going there.
All right, that'll be great. Okay, guys, thanks again for giving me time on your Sunday. I totally appreciate it. All right, for those of you watching, if you'd like to follow along on our journey, feel free to click the subscribe button below. Give us a thumbs up, a like on here. It's totally appreciated. And as always, we're more than grateful and extremely humbled by all of the prayers, the positive vibes, the good thoughts, the aloha, the shaka. There it is. Everything you guys send our way, the positive juju. We soak it all up. We use it all. And thank you so much. We'll see you on the next video.